In today's episode,
Attention Architects, Mastering the Tactics of Engagement by Victor Odåsnac.
Your attention. It's not just under siege, is it? It's like the new oil. And believe me, everyone's drilling for it.
Absolutely.
Just think about it for a second. Those infinite scrolls, the constant pings, they're drenched in dopamine, right? Outraged clickbait. None of this is accidental. These are, they're engineered traps, meticulously designed.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Traps.
While you might be arguing about, pineapple on pizza, your actual mental real estate is being rented out to the highest bidder.
Right under our noses.
So think of this deep dive as your rescue rope. Because, look, if we don't start choosing where we invest our focus,
someone else will choose for us.
Exactly. And, spoiler alert, they probably don't have your best interests at heart.
Not usually, no.
So our mission today is pretty clear. Explore this whole art and science of attention. Figure out why we get so easily sidetracked. Learn how content is actually built to grab our focus. And most importantly, figure out how you can reclaim your attention to, actually enrich your life.
That's the goal.
And our main guide here is Victor Odåsnac's fantastic book, Attention Architects. It's really eye-opening stuff.
It really is. And there's that beautiful quote from Simone Weil. Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. It really captures what we're talking about here, I think.
That's the power of
Understanding attention, it isn't just about boosting productivity or ticking boxes. It's more like learning the secret choreography of your own mind.
The choreography, I like that.
Yeah. It's really the key to truly connecting with things, with people, to being present and actually savoring the moments that make up your life.
Okay, so let's start by just looking at the scale of this challenge. Imagine your brain, right? Like a super busy airport.
Okay.
Thoughts are landing, taking off.
Yeah.
Just constant traffic.
Yeah, nonstop.
Now, picture distractions as these. Unexpected visitors just crashing the runway. Boom. Everything grinds to a halt.
Total chaos.
It feels like a constant battle just to keep things moving, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And what Odåsnac really emphasizes is that attention, fundamentally, it's your brain's spotlight.
That spotlight.
Yeah, like a single focused beam. It lights up what's important right now, and everything else just kind of fades into the background, like focusing a camera lens.
Right, you zoom in.
Exactly. And that selective focus, it's crucial for deep thinking, for real engagement. But here's the kicker. There was that Microsoft study.
Oh, I think I heard about this.
Yeah. It found our average attention span has shrunk down to about 8 seconds.
8 seconds?
It is
Seriously?
small.
Less than a goldfish.
Wow. Okay, that's actually kind of alarming.
It is. It's not just some quirky factoid.
Right.
It really hints at a big shift in our ability to sustain focus, to think deeply.
So we're just shallower thinkers now.
Well, there's a risk of that.
Yeah.
But here's the good news, right? Attention is a muscle.
Okay, a muscle, so it can be trained.
Exactly. Like any other muscle, it gets stronger with practice. Things like mindfulness, active listening, those are like power workouts for your attention muscle.
Right. And Odåsnac points out some simple starting points from the book, too, like single tasking.
Single tasking, you know, not multitasking.
Pretty much, like truly savoring one piece of chocolate instead of just, inhaling the whole bar while checking email.
Okay, I can picture that. Deliberate.
It is deliberate. He says it actually re-engages your prefrontal cortex, trains that executive control. It's like a brain workout, not just willpower.
Interesting.
Then there's setting tech boundaries, simple stuff like no phones at the dinner table or maybe an hour before bed, creating that mental space.
Yeah, got to protect that space.
And finally, just being present, really listening in conversations. Active listening, they call it, giving your full focus.
That 8-second thing is still rattling around in my head. It just shows how fragmented we are. So if our attention is so easily pulled away, how did it get so valuable? Why is everyone fighting for it?
Well, it's precisely because it's so easily pulled away and so scarce now. Think of your attention like this tiny, sparkling gem. It's rare, it's precious, but it's under constant siege. We're living smack bang in what Odåsnac calls the attention economy.
Attention economy.
Businesses, platforms, they're all battling for your gaze. With this absolute tsunami of information, videos, pings flooding your life, attention is the ultimate scarce resource.
And scarcity means value.
Bingo. Huge value. So marketers in this world, they've become these Well, master illusionists, really.
Illusionists, how so?
They're incredibly skilled at using colors, specific sounds, emotional hooks, anything to snag your focus.
Like that phone buzz.
Exactly. That buzz you get just as you're settling into something. Odåsnac makes it clear that's no accident.
It's timed.
It's timed. It's a calculated nudge to pull you back in. Every click, every scroll, it's a tiny win for them in this constant tug of war for your mind.
Wow.
And social psychologists back this up. Our brains, they're just wired to crave novelty, connection, which unfortunately fuels the endless scroll.
It feeds the beast.
It does. And look, this attention economy, sure, it can fuel creativity, connection across the globe, but there's a cost. It fragments our focus. It leaves us feeling drained, like trying to have a deep chat at a really loud party.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mentally drained.
Yeah.
So, okay, given all that, what does this actually mean for us day to day? Why do we get distracted so easily? It often feels like we're fighting gravity or something.
Well, connecting this back, Odåsnac talks about our brain's ancient wiring. See, our minds are naturally programmed to spot anything new or urgent.
Survival instinct, right?
Exactly. From our cave-dwelling days, it's called the orienting response. It's like your brain's smoke alarm. It goes off automatically, even if it's just, burnt toast. And marketers, they totally exploit this with bright colors, catchy sounds, and this is crucial, unpredictable reward.
Unpredictable.
Like gambling.
Precisely. Think slot machines. They use what's called intermittent reinforcement. It keeps you hooked, compulsively checking, and that's exactly what your phone's notifications do.
So that ping isn't just a sound. Oh, it's way more than a sound. It's a meticulously engineered siren designed specifically to yank your attention away.
Yeah.
Then you've got this whole multitasking myth. Odåsnac is really clear. Your brain isn't actually doing multiple things at once.
No. It feels like it is sometimes.
Feels like it, but it's actually switching back and forth really, really fast, like a circus performer spinning cleats like crazy.
Okay, frantic switching.
Yeah. And that leaves behind what he calls attention residue. Little bits of the last task just cling to your mental workspace, cluttering things up.
Like trying to write with a messy desk.
Exactly. Or like trying to write an email with 12 browser tabs open, all whispering at you.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
William James, the psychologist, he put it well, trying to focus on many things just spreads your mental light too thin.
Makes sense.
And emotions play a part too, of course. Stress can rev your brain up too high for focus. Boredom's like the siren call, luring you to any new distraction. And maybe even more significantly, all this frequent rapid-fire switching we do with our devices, it might actually be rewiring our brains over time, dulling that natural mental gatekeeper.
So more stuff just rushes in.
Pretty much. Less filter, more noise.
That paints a really stark picture of how our brains are being played almost. It seems clear then if you want to guard your attention, you really need to understand the other side.
Exactly.
How the content is actually designed to capture us. It's like you got to learn the opponent's playbook to know their moves.
That's a perfect analogy. Odåsnac calls it the art of engagement. Think of your content, maybe something you're creating, as like a really good storyteller at a crowded party.
Okay.
Someone who doesn't just shout, but naturally draws people in.
Right. They have that magnetism.
Yeah, and it starts with the hook. It has to be irresistible, like the smell of fresh popcorn, the juiciest bait.
So give me an example.
Okay, so instead of something bland like, social media is important, maybe try. Did you know people spend more time scrolling Instagram than sleeping? Let's make that scroll actually count.
Ah, okay. Surprising fact makes it relevant.
Exactly. You've grabbed them. Then you reel them in with stories. Stories feel less like a lecture, more like chatting with a friend. Facts are fine, but people connect with the jam, the feeling, the story.
The human element.
Totally. Share a relatable screw-up like, I once tried multitasking like a caffeinated octopus, something funny.
Okay.
Humor, Odåsnac says, is your secret sauce. If you describe procrastination as like a sneaky ninja stealing your time while you watch cat videos, it makes a dull topic memorable, engaging.
Yeah, visuals help too, I bet.
Hugely. Clarity is key, of course. Break stuff down. Bite-sized chunks, simple words, short paragraphs, bullet points. Guide their eye. And visuals and formatting. They're like your stage props.
Stage props.
Yeah. Images, infographics, maybe a well-placed meme. They light up the path. And finally, the book really stresses inviting participation.
Getting the audience involved.
Right. Ask questions. Clear calls to action. Like, what's your funniest productivity fail? Share below. It shifts them from just watching to actually participating.
That makes total sense.
Okay.
Okay, but let's get specific. what are the elements that really make content stick? Beyond the general vibe, what does Odåsnac say about visuals, about the words themselves?
Yeah, he gets into the nitty-gritty. With visuals, for example, colors are like the lead singers. They speak emotionally. Red often signals urgency, right? Blue feels trustworthy, calm.
Color psychology.
Totally. And he pushes for authentic photos over stock images. People crave realness. Connects better.
I hate cheesy stock photos.
Me too. And visually, you need balance and contrast. White space lets things breathe. Strong contrast, like a bright button on a dark background, highlights what's important, guides the eye.
Right. Makes it easy to see.
Subtle movement, too, like
Yeah.
animated graphics. They can grab attention faster than static stuff, that orienting response again. And consistency across platforms builds familiarity, trust, makes your message recognizable.
Okay, that covers visuals. What about the words? How do you make words stick?
Language. Odåsnac calls it a magic wand. Simple, vivid words. They're like bright balloons, easy to spot, hard to ignore.
Vivid, like pictures in your head.
Exactly. Saying the idea spread like wildfire hits harder than just the idea became popular. Creates that image instantly.
Yeah, much more impactful.
Rhythm matters too. Alliteration, like Peter's Perfect Pizza, gives it a beat, makes it more memorable, just flows better.
Catchy.
And emotions. He says emotions are the real magic. Words that make people feel something, they linger. Her smile was a sunrise. That creates an experience, not just data.
Makes sense. Feelings stick.
Surprise is your secret weapon, too. Calling a slow computer a turtle in a marathon, it turns a complaint into something funny, memorable, sticky.
Okay.
And always, always keep it short and sweet. Think Nike. Just do it. Bam.
Iconic.
Finally, Odåsnac really hammers home that timing is everything.
Timing. How so?
Well, imagine telling a joke at a funeral. Awkward, right?
Yeah, bad timing.
Launch your message too early. It gets ignored. Too late. The moment's passed. Perfect timing means catching people when they're open, curious, sensing that emotional readiness.
Like a comedian's pause.
Exactly. That perfect pause before the punchline builds anticipation, maximizes the impact. Timing is critical for engagement.
It's actually kind of unsettling how well these design principles work. So flipping it back to us listeners, how can we turn this knowledge inward? Become our own attention detectives, spotting these sneaky tricks, stealing our focus.
That's the key move, right? Developing what Odåsnac calls distraction detection. It's about noticing those playful, sometimes sneaky ways your attention gets tugged.
Okay, like what?
Well, social media platforms are the obvious ones. They're the ringmasters of this whole digital circuits, aren't they? Juggling bright colors, catchy headlines, those infinite scrolling loops, all designed to glue your eyes to the screen.
That infinite scroll.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets me sometimes.
Oh, it's a classic trick. It's like a bottomless bucket of popcorn. Taps right into our brain's love for novelty, for surprises. You just keep hoping the next post will be the really good one. Endless.
Guilty as charged.
Then there's the notification trap. That little ding, the flashing red badge. Not an accident. Odåsnac spells it out. It's engineered precisely to trigger a dopamine hit.
That little pleasure burst.
Yeah, makes you want to check and check again. It effectively hijacks your focus.
Oh.
And don't forget the emotional roller coaster. These platforms know how to stir things up. Outrage, heartwarming stories, shocking news.
They push our buttons.
Totally. And when your emotions are high, your brain's natural defenses just drop. Makes you way more likely to click, share, react without really thinking.
Right, you get swept up.
And we have to mention the multitasking myth again here. Your brain isn't juggling, it's switching. Rapidly, like that plate spinner.
Burning energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't just drain your mental energy. It makes deep, sustained focus feel like this rare, precious thing it maybe shouldn't be.
That's a really powerful breakdown of how these platforms work. So how can you, listening right now, start to spot these manipulations in your own life and, take back a bit of control?
Yeah, it starts with awareness. A critical point Odåsnac makes is that these platforms, they're master illusionists. They use that endless scroll, those dopamine hits, to really exploit our FOMO, that fear of missing out.
Right. Everyone else is seeing it.
Exactly. But here's the really weird twist. You're both the puppet and the puppeteer.
How does that work?
Every time you like, share, comment, you're not just passively watching. You're actively feeding the algorithm, helping the platforms refine their tricks, and often creating those echo chambers that actually narrow your view instead of broadening it.
Wow. So our engagement trains them.
It literally does. And then there are notifications, such a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
They promise connection, right, staying in the loop, but they constantly shatter your focus. They make us feel more available to the digital world.
But less present in the real one.
Exactly. Less present right here, right now. They tap right into our cravings for social validation, for novelty. They're like this persistent siren song.
Hard to ignore.
Very. And it forces you to ask, what does it truly mean to be available? Is it answering every single ping instantly? Or is it being fully, deeply present in the moment you're actually in?
That's a big question.
It's a delicate balancing act between connection and concentration. But just recognizing this dynamic, seeing how your clicks fuel the machine, that's the absolute first step to getting some control back.
Okay, so connecting this all together.
Yeah.
How do we move from just detecting the distractions to actually building resilience?
Yeah.
How do we become that master gardener of our own attention, cultivating a focused mind in all this noise?
Odåsnac is really passionate about this. He argues you absolutely can cultivate your mind like a garden. Distractions are just sneaky weeds.
Weeds we can pull.
Exactly. To keep that mental spotlight steady, he advises creating mini zones of concentration. Break big tasks down, bite-sized pieces.
Makes it less overwhelming.
Totally. And use techniques like the Pomodoro technique. You heard of that?
Yeah, 25 minutes on, short break.
That's the one. 25 minutes focus, quick break. It trains your brain systematically to resist those urges to wander. Builds focusing stamina.
Okay, Pomodoro. Got it.
Next, learn to catch butterflies with mindfulness. He describes thoughts as like a constant flutter of butterflies.
Always moving.
Right. Mindfulness is the gentle art of just observing one thought at a time without judging it, then letting it fly away.
Not getting attached.
Exactly. It builds that self-awareness. You notice when your mind wanders, and this is key, you learn to gently guide it back without beating yourself up.
Gently guide it back. Okay.
You can also actively build a fortress against distractions. Consciously say no to them. Tidy your workspace. Banish gadgets you don't need. Silence notifications. Maybe even put your phone in another room.
Create that physical barrier.
Yeah, and crucially, be kind to yourself. Your rubber ball self, he called it. Resilience isn't about never losing focus. It's about bouncing back when you do, with self-compassion.
Don't scold yourself for drifting.
Please don't. And finally, he suggests adding playful rituals.
Playful rituals, like what?
Could be anything, a quirky little dance move before you start work, wearing a specific silly hat, just something fun to signal to your brain. Okay, it's focus mode time now. Makes it less of a chore.
I love that. A focus hat. That makes it way more approachable. Okay, let's dig a bit deeper into mindfulness then. It sounds like a really central tool here.
It really is. Odåsnac offers this great metaphor. Think of your mind like a web browser with way too many tabs open.
Oh yeah, been there?
Right. All quietly draining your mental battery. Mindfulness is like hitting the refresh button.
Closing the unnecessary tabs.
Exactly. Tuning your awareness right into the present moment. And it's not just a mental trick. It actually helps break that cycle of constant mental noise, scattered attention.
Now.
Well, even just taking a few deep conscious breaths can ground you. Quiets the internal chatter, makes conversations feel richer, decisions sharper.
Just by breathing.
It sounds simple, but it works. Odåsnac also explains how mindfulness helps you simply notice your habits, like that mindless scrolling, without judgment.
Just see it happening.
Yeah. And that non-judgmental observation gives you the space to gently steer yourself back to what you actually intended to do.
Makes sense.
Even in stressful moments like being stuck in traffic, mindfulness lets you observe your frustration without getting totally swept away by it. Transforms chaos into a bit more calm.
So it builds resilience over time.
Absolutely. These small mindful moments, really savoring tea, truly listening to a friend, they build that mental muscle, help you navigate the chaos with more inner calm. You don't need a special cushion, just a willingness to notice.
It really comes back to intentionality, doesn't it? So this brings up a key question. How can someone listening right now start crafting their own attention strategies? Strategies that actually work for them, based on these ideas.
That's the million-dollar question. Odåsnac encourages us to think of attention less like a soldier following orders and more like a mischievous, playful cat.
A cat. Okay.
Yeah. 1 minute it's purring on your lap, the next it's chasing a dust bunny, like its life depends on it.
I know that cat.
Right. So crafting your strategies means becoming the smart, understanding owner of your particular cat. Learning its rhythms, its quirks, and guiding it gently.
So it's personalized.
Totally personalized, he says. Experiment boldly. Be like a mad scientist mixing potions in the lab.
Try things out.
Try things out. Maybe you find humor really breaks the ice in your presentations, or a personal story connects way better than dry data. You might even find a surprising prop like, I don't know, bringing a rubber duck to a pitch makes your point unforgettable.
The rubber duck, okay.
Why not? The core idea from the book is that real, lasting engagement comes from being genuine, engaging, maybe even a little vulnerable sometimes.
Authenticity.
That's it. Authenticity fosters that deeper connection, like sitting around a warm campfire, It just feels right.
Yeah.
So as you experiment, you'll build your own toolkit, strategies that feel natural to you. And that wildcat of attention, it starts to become more like a loyal, focused companion.
That's a great way to think about it. A companion, not an enemy. This has been such an insightful deep dive, really understanding attention, how to reclaim it.
Huh.
So as we kind of bring this all together, what's the ultimate takeaway? What's the playful power of mastering our attention in the grand scheme?
It's really quite profound when you think about it. Imagine life as this grand stage.
Okay.
Attention is the spotlight, the single spotlight that makes everything on stage come alive. Odåsnac frames it not as some dull chore we have to do, but as this vibrant, lively dance, a game we get to play every single day.
A dance, not a fight.
Exactly. And when we start to get better at this dance, this amazing treasure chest just swings open.
Treasure, what kind?
Clarity of mind, creativity starts blooming, our relationships deepen in ways we might have missed before. We start actually noticing the little wonders.
Like what?
A kid's spontaneous laugh, raindrops on the window, the rhythm in a friend's voice, tiny moments that usually just slip by when we're distracted.
The stuff that makes life rich.
That's exactly it. Odåsnac argues this is about being joyfully present, savoring each moment like a really amazing piece of chocolate, slowly, deliberately.
Okay. I can get behind that.
And look, attention isn't some skill you perfect once and then you're done. It's dynamic. It's a dance that changes with the music of life. Accepting that flow means we can stop beating ourselves up every time we lose focus.
Yeah, let go of the frustration.
Right. Learn to move with your mind. Understand that even chaos has its rhythm sometimes. This playful approach, it invites curiosity back in, wonder, transforms even a simple walk into this little treasure hunt. Every leaf, every shadow holds a secret.
That's a beautiful way to frame it. Less like a chore, much more like a gift we can cultivate. So to really bring it home for everyone listening,
Right.
What's the final core message we should take away from this deep dive?
I think the central message Odåsnac leaves us with in his epilogue, it's called Don't Scroll Through Your Soul. Just hits perfectly.
Don't scroll through your soul.
Wow. Yeah. The point of mastering your attention, it isn't just about being more productive. It's fundamentally about being present.
Being here now.
Exactly. Think about the simple truth, right? Sunsets don't send push notifications. Trees don't beg for likes. And your loved ones, they're sacred, gloriously analog. And your time with them is, well, it's fleeting.
Yeah, finite.
So the book urges us, spend your time where it genuinely matters. With people who make you laugh until you snort, under skies that remind you how small your worries actually are.
The real stuff.
The real stuff. He strongly encourages reading actual books, not just scrolling endlessly, because books, he says, let your brain stretch, dream, play dress up with big ideas in a way no quick digital hit ever can.
Dive deep.
And he champions writing, even just journaling for 5 minutes, to untangle your brain spaghetti, he calls it. Build your own little lighthouse in the storm of information.
Untangle brain spaghetti. I like that too.
The world outside, it's always going to be noisy. The circus of distraction isn't closing down. But clarity, Odåsnac reminds us, is a powerful act of rebellion. Attention is freedom.
Attention is freedom.
Yeah, your time, it is unequivocally yours. Spend it like it matters. Because
Because it absolutely does.